This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, students. Last class we completed the unit 2 in hydraulic engineering. Then we are going to discuss the next unit 3 in hydraulic engineering. Please everyone look at the topics in unit 3 on the PPT in your cell phones. In unit 3 we have 3 parts. So please everyone look at unit 3 topics. In unit 3 we have 3 parts. The part 1 in unit 3 is impact of water jets. Part 1 in unit 3, impact of water jets. Part 2 in unit 3, hydraulic turbines 1. Part 3 in unit 3, hydraulic turbines 2. So like that in unit 3 we have 3 parts. Part 2 is our same hydraulic turbines, but we can separate that part 2 into the third one, hydraulic turbines 2. So in this unit 3 we have 3 parts. Part 1, impact of water jets. Part 2, hydraulic turbines 1. Part 3, hydraulic turbines 2. So this is an important unit in hydraulic engineering, the third unit. So in this unit 3, first I am going to discuss the concepts in part 1, the impact of water jets. Then we will discuss the part 2 and part 3 also in this unit 3. Coming to this impact of water jets, that is part 1. This is the syllabus in that part 1 of unit 3, the impact of water jets. So go through that syllabus of this unit 1, that is unit 3 part 1, the impact of water jets. Then coming to the part 2, in this unit 3, hydraulic turbines 1, this is the syllabus in that part 2, followed by the part 3, hydraulic turbines 2, this is the syllabus in that part 3. So in the unit 3, first I am going to discuss the part 1, that is the impact of water jets. Coming to this part 1, the impact of water jets. First of all, you should know what is water jet. What is meant by water jet? Please everyone look at the diagram. Understand that diagram carefully. Understand the diagram. In the diagram, we have a pipe. We have a pipe and a nozzle is fitted at the end of pipe. So check the diagram. We are going to discuss the part 1 in unit 3. That is impact of water jets. So everyone, first of all, understand what is meant by water jet. Then you can understand what is the impact of water jet. So check the diagram carefully. Check the diagram carefully. So in the diagram, we have the water jet from the nozzle. The nozzle is fitted to the pipe. So please everyone look the diagram carefully. Can you see this diagram on the cell phones? Please give me the response. Is it visible on the cell phones?
Yes, sir.
Visible, sir.
Okay, thank you. So thank you. Coming to that part 1, the impact of water jets. So first of all, you must understand what is that water jet. So check the diagram. The water jet is coming from the nozzle. From the end of the nozzle, the water jet is coming out. The nozzle is fitted to the pipe. The pipe is having the water flow. The water is flowing in the pipe. Look at that water flow in the pipe. In the pipe, the velocity of water flow is V1. In the pipe, the area of water flow is A1. So in the pipe, the velocity of water flow is V1. The area of water flow in the pipe is A1. Then that water enters into the nozzle. From the pipe, the water enters into the nozzle. At the end of the nozzle, the area of water flow is A2 at the end of the nozzle. The velocity of water flow at the end of the nozzle is V2. Apply the continuity equation. One-dimensional continuity equation. Discharge Q is equal to A1V1 into A2V2. In the pipe, the discharge of water flow in the pipe Q is equal to A1 into V1. At the end of the nozzle, the discharge of water flow Q is equal to A2 into V2. According to one-dimensional continuity equation, the discharge Q is equal to A1V1 is equal to A2V2. Look at these areas A1, A2. A1 is the area of water flow in the pipe, large area. A2 is the area of water flow at the end of the nozzle, smaller area. So check out these areas of water flow in the pipe as well as in the nozzle. You can understand the area A2 less than the area A1. Once this area A2 less than this area A1, from this equation, if the area A2 less than this area A1, from this equation we can understand that the velocity of water flow V2 is greater than the velocity of water flow V1. So from the continuity equation, the discharge Q is equal to A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2. A1 is the area of water flow in the pipe, large area. A2 is the area of water flow at the end of the nozzle, smaller area. Since the area A2 less than area A1, from this equation we can understand that the velocity V2 is greater than the velocity V1. So at the end of the nozzle, the water is coming out from the nozzle with large velocity. That water with large velocity coming out from the nozzle is called jet of water. That is meant by the water jet. The water jet is coming out from the nozzle with large velocity because at the end of the nozzle, the area of cross section is smaller. Since the area of cross section at the end of the nozzle is smaller, from the end of the nozzle, the water is coming out with a large velocity like a beam of water. We call this also as a beam of water. The velocity of water is high. It is coming out from the nozzle with a large velocity that is called as beam of water. It is also known as the water jet. So understand what is meant by the water jet in this part 1. From the end of the nozzle, the water is coming out with a large velocity. That large velocity of water coming out from the nozzle is known as the jet of water or the water jet. We are going to discuss what is the impact of water jet. What is meant by the impact of water jet? So please everyone understand the meaning of impact of water jet. Before going to discuss the impact of water jet, I am going to discuss with you what is the mass of water jet or the weight of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second. Per second, how much mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle? What is the equation to calculate the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle? First we will discuss that mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle. Then we will discuss what is meant by the impact of water jets in this part 1 of unit 3. So check this next slide in the cell phones. If it is not scrolling, please inform me. Dear students, can you see this slide in the cell phones? The second slide.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? Thank you. Thank you. Coming to this continuation of this water jet. Just now I explained what is water jet. From the end of the nozzle, the water is coming out with a large velocity. That is called the water jet or the beam of water. Now I am going to explain you from that nozzle how much mass of water jet is coming out per second. So please follow the steps on the screen. Let rho is the density of water, small w is the unit weight of water, capital A is the area of the nozzle at the end, capital A, that is A2. Just now we discussed that as A2. A2 is the area of nozzle at the end. Take that as A. Capital A is the area of the nozzle at the end, and V is the velocity of water jet coming out from the nozzle. That is, in the previous case it is V2. Now take it as V. So go through those 4 points in the screen. So let rho is the density of water, small w is the unit weight of water, capital A is the area of nozzle at the end, capital V is the velocity of water coming out from the nozzle. Then the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second. The mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second is equal to rho AV. This is the equation. I will explain the derivation of this equation later. So remember, whenever the water jet coming out from the nozzle, the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second is rho AV. A into V, area into velocity, is discharge Q. It is also equal to density of water rho into discharge Q. So this is the equation. Rho is the density of water, A is the area of water jet that is coming out from the nozzle, V is the velocity of water jet. So if rho is the density of water, A is the area of water jet, V is the velocity of water jet, the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second is equal to rho A into V. Similarly, the weight of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second, that is per unit time. Per second means per unit time. The weight of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second is equal to small w into A into V. Small w is the unit weight of water. That is also equal to small w into discharge Q. So please note down in the notes these two equations. One is the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second, that is equal to rho density of water into A area of water jet into V velocity of water jet. Similarly, the weight of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second is equal to small w, the unit weight of water, into A, the cross-sectional area of water jet, into V, velocity of water jet. Now I will explain this equation rho AV. How this mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second is rho into A into V. Please follow the derivation because it is important in this impact of water jet. So please everyone go through that derivation of the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second is equal to rho AV. Check this derivation of that first one, the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second. Please follow the steps carefully. So first I am going to calculate only the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle. So please everyone follow this first calculation. I am calculating the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle. We know that mass is equal to density into volume. You know the definition of density. Density is equal to mass by volume. So mass is equal to density into volume. So the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle is equal to density of water into volume of water. Density into volume of water is the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle. You know this volume. Volume is equal to area into length. Volume is area into length. So take that area of water jet as L, length of water jet as L. So the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle is equal to rho into A into L. Now calculate the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second. This is only the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle rho AL. But here we are calculating the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second. Since we have per second, divide this density, divide this mass with the time. If you divide this mass with the time, you will get the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second. So that is equal to, what is the mass of water jet? Rho AL. This is the rho AL, mass of water jet per second divided by time. So that is the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second is equal to rho AL. This is the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle. Since we have per second divided by time, length by time. You know that length by time is velocity. So the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second is equal to rho AV. Rho is the density of water, A is the area of water jet, V is the velocity of water jet. So this equation rho AV, please remember in this unit part 3, unit 3 part 1, always this rho AV indicates the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second. Similarly, the weight of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second is equal to small w into AV. Small w is the weight of the unit weight of water. So here in this part 1 of unit 3, we are going to the impact of water jets. So I explained what is the water jet and also I explained What is the mass of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second? That is rho AV, and the weight of water jet coming out from the nozzle per second, that is W into AV. Now coming to the impact of water jet. What is meant by the impact of water jet? When the water jet hits the plate or a surface, when the water jet is hitting the plate or a wall or whatever it may be, you know that the water jet is coming out from the nozzle with large velocity. When that water jet is hitting the plate, for example, a metal plate is there in front of the water jet. The water jet is coming out from the nozzle. When that water jet is hitting the metal plate in front of it, then that water jet applies the force on the plate. If there is a metal plate in front of the water jet, just assume that metal plate, whether that metal plate is stationary or the metal plate is in the moving condition, whether the metal plate is flat metal plate or the metal plate is curved metal plate. Whenever there is a metal plate in front of the water jet, then that water jet will hit that metal plate. That is called impact. When the water jet hits the metal plate, we call it as the impact of water jet on the metal plate. During that impact, at the time of impact, the water jet applies the force on the metal plate. Whether the metal plate is vertical metal plate, whether the metal plate is inclined metal plate, whether the metal plate is curved metal plate, whether the metal plate is rest condition or the metal plate is moving condition. In all the cases, whenever there is a metal plate in front of the water jet, since the water jet is coming out from the nozzle with large velocity, if there is a metal plate in front of that water jet, so please remember, we are assuming there is a metal plate in front of the water jet. We have different conditions of metal plate. The metal plate may be in the rest condition. The metal plate may be in the moving condition. The metal plate may be perpendicular to direction of water jet. The metal plate may be inclined to direction of water jet. The metal plate may be flat metal plate or a curved metal plate. All conditions are there in that metal plate. So many conditions are there in the metal plate. So remember, in the impact of water jets, we are assuming a metal plate in front of the water jet. Just now we discussed what is that water jet. The water jet is coming out from the nozzle with large velocity. If there is a metal plate in front of that water jet, the water jet will hit that metal plate. When the water jet hits the metal plate, the water jet applies large force on the metal plate. How many conditions of metal plate are there? One is metal plate is in rest condition. Next one is metal plate is in moving condition. That is one case. Then the next one is metal plate is perpendicular to direction of water jet. Metal plate is inclined to direction of water jet. That is another condition. Third one is metal plate is a flat surface or the metal plate is a curved surface. So these combinations of metal plates are there in this unit 3 part 1. So in the unit 3 we have so many combinations of the metal plates in front of the water jet. So dear students, please everyone understand this impact of water jet in part 1 of unit 3. Impact means hitting. The water jet is hitting the metal plate. So in the unit 3 of part 1, we consider the water jet coming out from the nozzle. We assume a metal plate in front of the nozzle. We have different combinations of that metal plate. First combination, the metal plate may be in the rest condition or the metal plate may be in the moving condition. That is first one. The second one, the metal plate is perpendicular to direction of water jet or the metal plate is inclined to direction of water jet. That is the second condition. Third one, the metal plate may be a flat metal plate or the metal plate may be a curved metal plate. In all these cases, if the metal plate is in front of the water jet, definitely the water jet applies the force on the metal plate. We are going to discuss what are the equations to find out that force exerted by the water jet in all the conditions of metal plate. So in the part 1 of unit 3, our focus is to determine the equations for the force exerted by the water jet on the metal plate. So check this second sentence in this slide. The impact of water jet means the force exerted by water jet on the metal plate, which is the metal plate is either the rest condition or in the moving condition. For all the conditions of metal plate, just now I explained what are those conditions. We assume the metal plate is there in front of the water jet. The water jet is coming out from the nozzle with a large velocity. If that water jet hits the metal plate in front of it, the water jet applies the force on the metal plate. We have different conditions of metal plate. First one, the metal plate is in the rest condition or in the moving condition. Next one, the metal plate is perpendicular to water jet direction or inclined to water jet direction. Third one, the metal plate is flat metal plate or curved metal plate. In all these conditions, in all the cases, whenever there is a metal plate in front of the water jet, since the water jet is coming out with a large velocity from the nozzle, definitely that water jet applies the force on the metal plate. That is called the impact of water jet on the metal plate. So we are going to discuss in this part 1 of unit 3, impact of water jets. We are going to discuss what are the equations to determine the forces exerted by the water jet on the metal plate in different conditions of metal plate. In order to derive those equations of forces in the impact of water jet with the metal plate, we are using the Newton's second law of motion. By using this Newton's second law of motion, it is also called the momentum principle. By applying that Newton's second law of motion, we are going to discuss the equations for the forces exerted by the water jet on the metal plates. So in the unit 3, in part 1, impact of water jets, we are going to discuss the equations of force exerted by the water jet on metal plate. In that equations, we are going to apply the Newton's second law of motion. It is also called momentum principle. Already in the previous units, we discussed this Newton's second law of motion. You are very well known about this Newton's second law. What is that Newton's second law states? Please everyone look at this Newton's second law. Just before that, check out the different cases. Just now I explained. In the part 1, impact of water jet, we have different conditions of metal plates. First one, the metal plate is stationary. So please everyone look at these different combinations of the water jet and metal plates. First one, the metal plate is stationary. In that stationary condition, the first one is the metal plate is perpendicular to direction of water jet. In the first condition, the metal plate is stationary. In that, the subcondition, first subcondition, the metal plate is perpendicular to direction of water jet. Then the water jet applies the force on the metal plate. So the metal plate is stationary, rest condition, and the metal plate is perpendicular to direction of water jet. Then the water jet applies the force on the metal plate. By using Newton's second law, we are going to derive the equation for that first subcondition. What is the first subcondition? The metal plate is stationary and the metal plate is perpendicular to direction of water jet. Then the second subcondition, the metal plate is stationary and the metal plate is inclined to direction of water jet. That is the second condition. Third condition, the metal plate is stationary and the metal plate is curved. In the first two subconditions, the metal plate is flat metal plate, whereas in the third subcondition, the metal plate is a curved metal plate. These three are the subconditions when the metal plate is stationary. So in the impact of water jets, we are going to discuss the force exerted by water jet on the metal plates. We are going to discuss the equations of forces exerted by water jet on metal plate. We have different combinations of metal plate. First combination, the metal plate is stationary. In that we have sub conditions. The metal plate is flat. It is perpendicular to direction of water jet. Second condition, the metal plate is flat metal plate. It is inclined to direction of water jet. Third sub condition, the metal plate is curved. Then the next one, the metal plate is moving metal plate, not the stationary, not the rest metal plate. The metal plate is moving metal plate. In that we have the first sub condition, the metal plate is a flat metal plate. It is perpendicular to direction of water jet. Second sub condition, the metal plate is flat metal plate. It is inclined to direction of water jet. Then the last one, the metal plate is curved metal plate. So like that, in the stationary condition, we have 3 sub conditions. In the moving condition also, we have 3 sub conditions. For all these conditions, we are going to discuss the derivation of equations for the force exerted by water jet on the metal plate. For all these conditions, in the unit 3, part 1, for all these conditions, we are going to discuss the derivation of equation for forces exerted by the water jet on the metal plate. In those equations, derivation of equations, we are using the Newton's second law of motion. So, what is this Newton's second law of motion? According to Newton's second law of motion, everyone knows the Newton's second law of motion states that the rate of change of linear momentum of a body is equal to the force acting on the body. That is Newton's second law of motion. So please everyone read that Newton's second law of motion. Simple statement. The rate of change of linear momentum of a body. We know very well linear momentum. Mass into velocity is linear momentum. Change of linear momentum means, you know this linear momentum. Linear momentum is equal to mass into velocity. Change of linear momentum means initial linear momentum minus final linear momentum is called change of linear momentum. What is the rate of change of linear momentum? Rate of change of linear momentum means change of linear momentum divided by time. Change of linear momentum divided by time is called the rate of change of linear momentum. So the rate of change of linear momentum is equal to initial linear momentum minus final linear momentum divided by time. That is called the rate of change of linear momentum of a body. It is equal to the force acting on the body. This is the Newton's second law of motion. We are using this Newton's second law of motion in this part 1, impact of water jets, in unit 3. The entire part 1, impact of water jets, we are going to apply this Newton's second law of motion. So please everyone understand what is this Newton's second law of motion states. According to Newton's second law of motion, the rate of change of linear momentum of a body is equal to the force acting on the body. Linear momentum means mass into velocity. Change of linear momentum means initial linear momentum minus final linear momentum. Rate of change of linear momentum means change of linear momentum divided by time. That is initial linear momentum minus final linear momentum divided by time is called the rate of change of linear momentum of body. It is equal to force acting on the body. Now I am going to discuss with you one simple application of this Newton's second law of motion. Please follow this simple explanation of this Newton's second law of motion. Everyone look at this picture on the cell phones. Everyone please look at this picture on the cell phones. I am going to discuss with you that Newton's second law of motion in this diagram. So please watch this picture on the cell phones. In this diagram we have the first body. Let the first body is moving with velocity u. The first body moving with velocity u. Take the mass of this first body as m, capital M, and the second body may be in the rest condition. Take the second body is in rest condition. Then the first body collide the second body, hits the second body, that is impact. The first body impact the second body. When the first body impact the second body, that the first body applies the force F on the second body. So we consider the first body moving with velocity u. This is initial velocity. U is the initial velocity. Let the first body impact the second body. Take the second body in rest condition. At the time of impact, the first body applies the force on the second body F. Because of that force, the first body applies the force on the second body. Because of that force, after the impact, let the first body moving with the velocity v, and also second body moving. That is not necessary. Because of this impact, the second body also moving. We are not going to consider that movement of the second body. Check the first body. First body before impact velocity is u. After impact velocity is v. At the time of impact, the first body applies the force F on the second body. Look at these velocity and force directions. Velocity is a vector quantity. Force also vector quantity. In the diagram, the velocity u, the force F, the velocity v, all are in the same direction. So check this diagram carefully, please. The velocity is a vector quantity. The force is a vector quantity. So here, the velocity of the first body before impact u, the velocity of the first body after the impact v, and force F. F is the force exerted by the first body on the second body. Now we are going to apply the Newton's second law of motion on this first body. We are going to apply the Newton's second law of motion on the first body. The first body applying the force F on the second body. According to Newton's second law of motion, the force applied by the first body on the second body, F is equal to the rate of change of linear momentum of the first body. According to Newton's second law, the force F applied by the first body on the second body is equal to the rate of change of linear momentum of the first body. Coming to that Newton's second law for that first body, check that calculation of the force F applied by the first body on the second body. Please go through these steps. Let m is equal to the mass of the first body, capital M. U is the initial velocity of the first body. V is the final velocity of the first body. Capital F is the force exerted by the first body on the second body. We are going to find that force F by using the Newton's second law. What is Newton's second law? The rate of change of linear momentum of body is equal to force acting on the body or the force applied by the body. Both are same. So here P1 or PI is equal to the initial linear momentum of first body. Linear momentum is equal to mass into velocity. What is initial velocity? U. So the initial linear momentum of the first body, PI, is equal to m into u. M is the mass of the first body, u is the initial velocity of the first body. So m into u is the initial linear momentum of the first body. Similarly, the final linear momentum of the first body is m into v. M is the mass of the first body, v is the final velocity of the first body. So m into v is the final linear momentum of the first body, that is Pf. According to Newton's second law, the force F is equal to change in the linear momentum divided by time. That is the rate of change of linear momentum. What is the change in linear momentum? Pi minus Pf. Pi is the initial linear momentum, Pf is the final linear momentum. So the change in the linear momentum is Pi minus Pf divided by time, because the force F is equal to rate of change of linear momentum. So substitute the equation. Pi is m into u, Pf is m into v by time. So take this mass m common. So in this equation, mass m into u minus v by t. M by t is called the mass per second. M by t is called mass per second. So this is the Newton's second law to find out that force F applied by the first body on the second body. So in this diagram, we consider the first body moving with velocity u. The first body hits the second body. At the time of hitting, the first body applies the force F on the second body. Then after the impact, the first body moving with velocity v. To find out this force F applied by the first body on the second body, we are using the Newton's second law of motion. According to Newton's second law of motion, force F is equal to the rate of change of linear momentum of the first body. Please watch this diagram. Here, the initial velocity u, force F, and the final velocity v all are acting in the same direction. Then the initial linear momentum is mass into initial velocity m into v. The final linear momentum is mass into final velocity m into v. So the change of linear momentum of first body mu minus mv. The rate of change of linear momentum of first body mu minus mv divided by time, that is equal to force F according to Newton's second law. So that is force F. F is equal to mu initial linear momentum minus mv divided by time, that is m into u minus v by t. M by t is called the mass per second. So here in this discussion, the important concept is here the force F, the velocity u, the velocity v, all are in the same direction. Since all are in the same direction, we got this force F is equal to m into u minus v by t. But sometimes the velocity v may be in the different direction. Check this diagram. Please everyone watch this diagram. So this is the second discussion about Newton's second law of motion. Here also in the diagram also, the first body moving with velocity u, initial velocity. This is the second body. The first body impact the second body, hits the second body. At the time of impact, the first body applies the force on the second body. F is the force. After impact, let the velocity of the first body v in the inclined direction. In the previous case, velocity v in the horizontal direction. But here the velocity v is in the inclined direction, making an angle theta with horizontal. So the force is horizontal. U, initial velocity horizontal, but the final velocity inclined. Then in this condition, if the final velocity is in the inclined direction, what is the Newton's second law equation for this force F? In the previous case, we got that F is equal to m into u minus v by t, because in the first case, force F, initial velocity u, final velocity v, all are in the same direction. But in the second case, the final velocity v is not in the direction of force F. Now, how to apply the Newton's second law of motion for this condition? To apply the Newton's second law of motion for this condition, find out this velocity v component in the direction of force. The force is horizontal, so the component of this velocity v in the horizontal direction, in this direction, is v cos theta. This is the inclined velocity v. The velocity v is not in the direction of force F. Force F is horizontal, whereas the final velocity v is inclined. So to apply the Newton's second law for the first body, what is Newton's second law? The force F is equal to rate of change of linear momentum of first body. To apply the Newton's second law for the first body in this condition, find out the component of velocity v in the direction of force. Since force is horizontal, the horizontal component of velocity v is v cos theta. Use that v cos theta in the Newton's second law of motion. So coming to this force F equation for this second condition. So in the second condition, look at this final velocity of the first body. It is in the inclined direction. We are going to discuss what is the Newton's second law for this second condition. So set that derivation of force F by using Newton's second law. So here m is the mass of the first body, u is the initial velocity of the first body, V is the final velocity of the first body. F is the force exerted by the first body on the second body. Then the force F is horizontal. Initial velocity is also horizontal. So the initial linear momentum of the first body in the direction of force F. That is important here. So this is important in the second case. The initial linear momentum of the first body in the direction of force F. Since this velocity u is in the direction of force F, the initial linear momentum of the first body in the direction of force F is m into u. Whereas coming to this final velocity is not in the direction of force F. The final velocity is making an angle theta with horizontal. So the component of final velocity v, in the horizontal direction, that is in the direction of force F, is v cos theta. Use that v cos theta to find out the final linear momentum of this first body. So here the final linear momentum of this first body in the direction of force F is mass of the first body into v cos theta. Because v cos theta velocity is in the direction of force F, take that v cos theta as the final linear momentum of first body in the direction of force F. So Pf is equal to the final linear momentum of the first body in the direction of force F, that is equal to m into v cos theta. So the change of linear momentum is m into u minus m into v cos theta. The rate of change of linear momentum is mu minus mv cos theta by time. According to Newton's second law, force F is equal to the rate of change of linear momentum of the first body mu minus mv cos theta by time. So m by t into u minus v cos theta. Again m by t is called the mass per second. So like that you can apply the Newton's second law to find out the force applied by the first body on the second body. So check out this equation, m into u minus v cos theta by t, and also the first equation, m into u minus v by t. So this is the first equation. In this first equation, initial velocity u in the direction of force F, final velocity v also in the direction of force F. So in the first case, F is equal to m into u minus v by t, whereas in the second case, the final velocity is in the inclined direction, making an angle theta with horizontal, that is the direction of force F. So the final linear momentum of the first body is mass of the first body into the component of velocity v in the direction of force F, that is v cos theta. We consider that final linear momentum in the Newton's second law, m into v cos theta, because this velocity v is in the inclined direction. So in the direction of force F, the component of that velocity is v cos theta. For example, if that final velocity is in the vertical direction, if and all this final velocity is vertical direction, theta becomes 90 degrees. So v cos theta becomes 0. So if the final velocity v is in the vertical direction, theta is 90 degrees. So v cos theta 0. So this final linear momentum becomes 0. So if the velocity v is in the vertical direction, Pf becomes 0, because the velocity v with the direction of force F making the 90 degrees angle. So cos 90 is 0. So m into v cos 90 is 0. So Pf is 0. Then this force F is equal to Pi minus 0 by time. That is only m into v by time. This is the Newton's second law in this impact of water jets. Dear students, if you have doubts about this Newton's second law application in those two conditions, you please discuss with me. If you have any doubts about this Newton's second law in the previous two cases, you please discuss with me.
Good morning, sir.
Only one response. Without taking the break, I explained these concepts almost 45 minutes, but I got only few response from the students. What about remainings? It seems most of the students even switched off their audio. So they are not interested at least to listen this class. Not even listening the class, they switched off the audio. Regular 1115, he totally switched off this class audio. That symbol is appeared in my screen. Remaining students, they are listening, at least they are listening. Whether they are able to understand or unable to understand, they are listening the class. But some students, they totally stopped the audio. That regular 1115, and some more are there. So they are not at all interested. Okay, it's up to them. And a regular 118, 125, 127, so many, 127. Then 150, then lateral 153, lateral 102. See how many students. Then Durga Prasad 130. Totally switched off the audio. Okay, definitely in the examinations, they will face the problem. This is not at all a simple topic, simple subject. You please inquire this subject with any faculty in the department about this hydraulic engineering. How much difficulty this subject, definitely they will say. Even you can discuss also. This is the total difficult subject in the entire civil engineering. Lot of syllabus is there. So many concepts are there. In the examination, sometimes you are unable to answer even one question also. Lot of concepts are there in this subject. So దయచేసి వినండి, please listen the class. Why so many people are stopped to the audio? If they are not interested, don't join the class. Send me the message, sir, I am not interested, please give me the attendance. I will consider. What is this? I am taking the utmost effort to prepare this PPT, to prepare this material. Nowhere you will get this type of material. Inquire in the remaining colleges. All the colleges in the state. I am confident. To inquire any college in the class, this type of PPT, this type of material, nobody is having in the colleges. But I don't know why these people are not at all putting the interest to at least listen the class. If they listen the class, they will get the doubts. Then when the college is open, if you approach me, definitely I will clarify the doubts, so that you will be benefited, not myself. Only few students are giving the response. Sir, it is clear. Very happy. I am very happy. Because I have taken almost 3 hours to prepare these diagrams. These diagrams are not downloaded from the slide share or some other. Myself prepare all these diagrams to explain the Newton's second law of motion. Otherwise, you cannot understand what is impact of water jet on flat plates or curved plates. So first of all, you should know how to apply the Newton's second law for that impacts. What is Newton's second law? You must consider the directions of velocities when you are applying the Newton's second law. That's why I prepare the two diagrams. In the first diagram, all are in the same direction. Velocity u, force F, velocity v, all are in the same direction. So the force F is equal to m by t into u minus v. If I take that u minus v to the that t to the u minus v by t, that is acceleration, change of velocity by time, acceleration. So m into a, acceleration, m into a, that is Newton's second law equation. F is equal to ma. Then in the second case, the final velocity is in the inclined direction. So in that case, the force F is equal to mu minus m into v cos theta, not simply m into v. So you must understand where we are changing that equation. So that is very, very important in this part 3, in this part 1 of impact of water jets. So please inform to that remaining students to join the class and try to listen the concepts. Very, very difficult subject, this hydraulic engineering, dear students. I am informing you well before. This is not a simple subject. just like the remaining theory subject. It is totally mathematical. Definitely you might observe in the unit 1, unit 2, how much mathematics are there in this hydraulic engineering. Still we have a lot of mathematics in the unit 3, unit 4, unit 5. We have so much of mathematics in this hydraulic engineering. If you listen the class, then you can follow the concepts. If you are doing like this, switching off the audio, not listening the class, definitely you will be in the trouble in semester examinations. So in the next class, with this I am going to stop the today's class. In the next class, we will discuss the different cases. Just in the today's class, I explained we have different impact of water jets with metal plates. When the metal plate is in rest condition, in that we have three sub conditions. The metal plate is flat, perpendicular to direction of water flow. The metal plate is flat, inclined to direction of water flow. The metal plate is curved metal plate. These three are the sub conditions in the rest condition. Then the second one is the metal plate is moving. In that also we have three sub conditions. In the moving condition, the metal plate is flat, perpendicular to direction of water flow. The metal plate is flat, inclined to direction of water flow. The metal plate is curved. In the next class, we are going to discuss what are the equations of forces. What are the equations of forces exerted by water jet in all those conditions of metal plates. So in the today's class, I explained the Newton's second law motion and the applications of Newton's second law in the first case as well as in the second case. When all the velocities are in same direction, if the final velocity is in the inclined direction, what about the Newton's second law force equation? So we discussed the Newton's second law force equation in the first case as well as in the second case. So with this, I am going to stop the today's class. Please inform to your remaining friends to join the class at least from Monday onwards, because this is an important concept. In the first mid examination, you have this unit 3 also. Up to this part 1 of unit 3, you have this syllabus in the first mid examination. So please inform to your remaining friends to join the class at least from Monday onwards and see that they will not stop the audio of this class. Okay, students, with this, I am going to stop the today's class. We will continue this discussion, the impact of water jets on metal plates, by using this Newton's second law from Monday class onwards. You please leave the class and join the next class.
This conference will now be recorded.